The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Our friends over at ecobarista.com.au. Man, these guys not only making some of the best coffee bags, cups and that, but it's all eco-friendly stuff. They got recyclable, they got compostable. We make our bags with them. Beautiful bags. We got these made with them 3 years ago, completely custom made. Liam's doing some hand gestures at me. I don't know
Just
what that
hold
is.
that bag a bit closer to you.
Oh, there you go.
Right, there we go. Now we can see it. Look at that.
Okay,
Look at that bag.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Kirk is getting some bags, cups made right now. He's showing me some designs. They're looking good.
Yep.
Get them made so we can have them on the pod. I want to show them off.
I'm working on it. But, all good things take time.
Yep.
And Uncle Russ is cooking. We know Uncle Russ
Uncle Russ is cooking.
True. So I'm getting but it's it's summer right now, right?
Yep.
So I've got my iced latte cups that look real good, and I've said it on the podcast before. It's got to be big. You got to be able to shake it. You got to have the Hoshizaki ice.
Got to have the little ice shakes.
Those eco barista cups. Everyone in Melbourne should be using them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to use them or you want to get them for your cafe or roastery, then you just go to ecobarista.com.au and you get 15% off your first purchase.
How good is that? 15% off your first purchase.
Bargain. Russ, how are you doing it?
Yeah,
You're giving it away.
What's the question you usually ask me?
Oh, I just normally, it's more of a personal question, but I just wanted to know, are you an eco warrior?
No, I'm not. I'm an eco barista.
Oh, it's still here. 2025.
That's going to be the best ad read yet. Yes. Thank you. Well, everybody, welcome back to the It's Just Coffee podcast. That was a good one. Welcome to Mikael Jasin. Pronounced that correctly?
Yeah.
Mikael Jasin?
Mikael Jasin, yes.
Jasin. So, the reigning World Barista Champion from, where was it held last year? Busan in Korea. Yeah. One of my favorite cities I've been to.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
While it's fresh on my mind, I asked Hidenori Ozaki a question just then. I said, "What would you like me to ask Mikael Jasin?" And his question was, "What is your vision for the specialty coffee industry?" I know I'm starting off hot here, but otherwise I'll forget. So, what is Mikael? While it's fresh on my mind, what's Mikael Jasin's vision for specialty coffee?
Oh, that's a pretty heavy question for a first question. Well, I guess in the near future, I think it's kind of in line with the new definition of specialty coffee by the SCA, I think. I think it should be not just about the coffee itself, but also the experience surrounding the coffee, right? Be it packaging or the serving experience, the people serving it, the coffee itself. I know there's a lot of different issues with coffee prices or the availability of coffee, and it would be harder and harder to consume coffee the way we normally consume it. So I think the vision for the future should be how we take coffee, specialty coffee, from just the drink itself and then grow it to something that is more experiential.
Yeah, I totally echo all of that. I interviewed your coaches yesterday, Cole and David. That was a really funny interview, but obviously we did a bit of a breakdown video of when you won the World Barista Championship. Congratulations. I've actually known you for a little while since you were working in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So you've had quite the journey. You were working as a barista in Melbourne for, I think it was at Middletown and Operator 25.
Yeah.
Some well-known cafes there.
Initially Manchester Press.
Manchester Press.
That was my first cafe.
Still standing today.
Still there.
It's a great cafe. And it's been so wonderful to see your journey. And I guess you had that steps to success that I call it. So you've been in the Worlds a couple of times and you really did put yourself through the fire, like you said you did in the routine. How does it feel now now that you have achieved that?
Well, it definitely feels good to have achieved what was my goal for a really long time. So I think I started competing in 2015 and then started pursuing competition very seriously since like late 2016, early 2017, and and basically made it my life goal to not necessarily win, but to be the best in the world at what I do. And what I do is coffee. And coffee competition has a very tangible thing that you can hold at the end of it, the trophy, right? So yeah, it feels really good to know that. It sounds cliche, but like if you work hard, you can achieve the things that you want to achieve, and I did achieve that through a lot of help, through a lot of trial and tribulation. But
do you ever get to? Sometimes I find, for example, when I finished university, you work all your schooling life, high school, then you work university, and you think of that moment when you're finished. Often when you're going through it, but when it comes, I always my personal experiences. I always go, oh, well, now what? Do you experience a little bit of that, or
a little bit of that? But it's not hollowness that you get from achieving your goal. But because it was my goal for a really long time, 9 years or so.
Yeah.
After I achieved it, I never really planned beyond winning. Because for a lot of people it never happened, and I didn't know how long it was gonna take me to win, right? So I didn't really have a plan or a goal after I won. So maybe not immediately, but in the weeks following Busan, I was like, okay, now what do I do with this?
I can totally.
But it's okay. Like I don't think of it as a pressure or anything. I'm just doing it one day at a time now to figure out what I want to do next.
So we're here at World of Coffee in Dubai. Huge Indonesian expat culture, diaspora, whatever you call it, here. I've been really impressed with, obviously, the Archers coffee guys.
Yeah.
But I had a hot take yesterday on the podcast that Benchmark is the best cafe in the world. I truly believe it's the best I've been to.
Yeah.
What's your impression been of the culture here? Because I'm so unbelievably impressed by the UAE.
Yeah. It's great. I've been to Dubai many times, mainly for World of Coffee, but every now and then, because it's sort of halfway point between our part of the world to Europe, right? A lot of people transit here, and the coffee culture here is definitely on a very, very high level in terms of the kind of coffees that you get here, like just randomly. Yeah.
Well, I went to the Archers green room before, and I thought, my goodness, this is like, I don't even know how much money worth of stock. An very impressive thing. But speaking of which, we're at World of Coffee Dubai. World of Coffee is about to go to Jakarta. And I imagine you're going to have a pretty prominent role in, being there and promoting it. Are you excited for it?
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really busy week for a lot of us. But it's very exciting because we've been working on bringing World of Coffee to Jakarta for a while. I think the first time we started the conversation was around 2021. Mm-hmm. And then when we finally signed the contract, that was in Busan actually. Mm-hmm. One day before my preliminary round. And then they announced it right before my performance. So it was very, very emotional because for a lot of us, it's a dream coming true. And my first World of Coffee or World Barista Championship was in Melbourne. Yep. 2013. And then it's so surreal to have World of Coffee coming to Jakarta and what it's going to mean for us, because we're producing country, we're also a consuming country, so everyone's super excited, and to be the first in Southeast Asia to have it.
I think not a lot of people understand that Indonesia is one of the fastest growing economies in the entire world.
Yeah.
And I think you're projected to be like a top 5 economy by like 2050 or 70 or something.
Yeah. I think we're currently number 8.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And it's just rapidly accelerating. Yeah. What are some things that people listening to this podcast should know about the Indonesian coffee scene? My business partner is Indonesian, and I hear wonderful things about it, and I'm hoping that I can come to Jakarta in May. What are some things you think people should know about it?
It's definitely very unique in a way that because there's 280 million of us.
That's a big country.
Yeah, and people do drink coffee. So we have a really big coffee market segment, and this market is segmented to all different level of coffee. So you have something really, really specialty like omakase style cafes or slow bar serving filter only, all the way to from there You have the specialty cafes with multiple branches, or we have a few coffee chains, local coffee chains that have thousands of stores, 500 stores, serving the big masses, all the way down to the instant coffee. So whoever you are and everywhere you go, there's this segments of coffee, and it's really big. And I think people would be very, very, or if you haven't been to Jakarta or Indonesia, they'll be very surprised by the amount of coffees that they're going to be surrounded with.
Well, pitch it to everyone. We this is a good opportunity to pump up that event. So so this is in May. I think it's
May 15th to 17th.
May 15th to 17th.
Yeah.
Everyone should be coming to the World of Coffee Jakarta, right?
Yeah.
And what can they expect when they're there?
Well, one, definitely stay close to the venue, because
stay close to the venue.
Jakarta's traffic is
hot tip.
Is pretty crazy. But once you're there, definitely explore everything. Obviously, you'll do your research, and then you'll know the big cafes or the specialty cafes to go to. But look beyond that and explore everything. Like, our coffee culture is very driven by ice milk coffee.
Ice milk coffee.
Yeah, that's a big thing, or es kopi susu as we call it. And ice milk coffee is what most people drink. That's the thing, because it's sweet. Indonesians like sweet. It's also cold, so it's hot in Indonesia. It does really well. And explore that. And then also we have a lot of small, independent coffee bicycles, coffee carts.
Yeah.
So you'll see them around, especially in Jakarta, where the venue is. You'll see them around, and just try it out.
So what do you do with yourself nowadays? I mean, judging, we were talking a little bit before we pressed record, and you're traveling a lot. Since you've won and from now onwards, what does your day-to-day look like?
Definitely a lot of travel.
Yep.
I'm lucky enough to be working with a few different brands as brand ambassadors, sometimes consultants, and a lot of flying around, either doing marketing activations, or doing behind the scene works with them, some R&D work, some recipe work, and just moving from one place to another and then making coffee.
If you're such a big traveler, you'll have obviously tried the local coffees at all these cities you've been to. What are the top 3 coffee cities in your opinion? I've been asking this question a lot. What are your top 3 cities for drinking coffee from a World Barista Champion's point of view?
I don't know. My experience is pretty skewed, right? Because then when I travel, most of the time I don't have time to actually explore the city. I go to the places that people take me to. So and most of the time that's either their customers or people that buy coffee or buy products from them. So I don't know how neutral
before you became a champion. What are your top 3?
Well, Panama is definitely one.
As a producing country?
As a producing country, but also within Panama, there are cafes that serve Panamanian coffees. And similar to other producing countries where sometimes you find something really, really good, but the volume is too small to be exported out.
Well, we had Wilfred on yesterday from the Mastis Elita Estate, and he had some very complimentary things to say. He said a lot of the world will be surprised.
Yeah. So Panama is definitely one of them. And then, might be biased, but Jakarta is one.
Jakarta, we'll take it. Why?
It's just different level of coffees that you can explore. And also you can find Jakarta as a producing country is pretty relaxed with importing rules. Yeah. So you do get a lot of imported coffees as well. So you have all these nice, geishas or Colombian coffees or other coffees from all over the world. But also you have the really good Indonesian coffees that you don't find overseas.
Indonesian coffee is getting better and better year on year, by the way. I feel like as well.
Yeah. So and like I said, sometimes it's too small to export out, so you get local roasteries or cafes serving it. So that's one. Another one.
You're a well-traveled man. Last one.
I would say South Korea.
South Korea?
Yeah.
With
Seoul
in particular?
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite places in Seoul? Because I went to Center Coffee when I was there, went to Fritz Coffee.
Yeah.
They were both really, really good.
Yeah, like around that Seongsu area where Center Coffee and a lot of other cafes are, it's just really nice. And I think South Korea has a really nice balance between serving really specialty coffee and also specialty looking coffee that is not necessarily specialty but people really love. So it's very Instagrammable. It appeals to the wider audience, and also they have more commercial but also paired with nice pastries and things like that. So as maybe not in terms of cupping score, maybe the coffees that they are serving is not that specialty, but we talk about specialty coffee being experiential.
Yeah.
And then the experience that you get in South Korea or Seoul is really, really up there. And you see a lot of cities trying to emulate what
it's a very hip
Seoul
place.
has.
Like, you know, when
for
you
sure.
go there, their culture. I mean, I find Japan they have a culture of being so like classy and stand. Whereas I feel like Koreans let their hair down a bit more.
Japan is great for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't like queuing for coffee. I don't like queuing for anything.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, fair enough.
Sorry, Hide. But like, in Tokyo, you have to wait for like an hour, 2 hours in line, and just to get coffee, it's a bit too much for me.
I agree. We've got only a few minutes left, so one thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you get up to in your spare time? What does a World Barista Champion do when they're not doing coffee, when you're trying to just enjoy yourself?
I never really had spare time, man.
Surely you've got hobbies.
No.
What?
Well, so a long time ago, I decided that whatever I do in life or in my career was to answer one question, and that question was that is this decision is going to take me one step closer to me achieving my dream of becoming a World Barista Champion.
And that's been your mindset for how
That's
long?
been my mindset for 9 years. So everything, moving back to Indonesia, was to answer that question. Finding a hobby. Like, I like wine, I like whiskey, I like cooking. I always try to link it back to coffee somehow. Like just technique, like cooking milk and things like that. So my hobby is always very related to coffee. After I won, I never really had spare time, maybe a little bit in the morning. I tried to, one of my goals this year is to have 3 hours for myself every day.
Okay.
And that 3
That's
hours.
a good goal to have.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just too crazy. And that 3 hours I use for 1 hour exercise, 1 to 2 hours just myself either doing some journaling work or I try to do some meditation and breathing exercise. Because once I get out, especially in coffee expo like this, that's when
I've
crazy starts.
actually embraced meditation a bit more this year because I'm a naturally high energy guy, right? I don't need coffee. I'm always pretty crazy and jacked up. So like meditation actually allows me to, if you do it the first thing you do when you wake up, it's such a perfect start to your day and something I'd really encourage everyone to do more regularly. I don't do it every day, but I really should start because when you do, you set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
And is your experience the same?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be super serious. I feel like when people hear meditation, they feel like you have to like burn Palo Santo and you're like close your eyes for like half an hour. It could be 5 minutes, could be 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even listen to music while I do it.
Yep.
And 3 minutes is more than enough for you to really reset and be in a really good mental space.
Yeah.
For you to be ready to tackle your day.
Another good World Barista Champion who does this is Anthony Douglas.
Yeah.
I recorded a podcast with him a few months ago and he said, just excuse me for a moment. I'm just going to prepare myself for this interview. Sure. And he sat down for 5 minutes, closed his eyes and prepared. And he does that quite a bit. And I think he embraced that for
He does it backstage. With Jack.
So
it was funny in Busan. Like they were doing a meditation. I was here doing my meditation. It was like a meditation off.
This will be my last question. So we obviously did that breakdown which I mentioned before of your routine. You beat Jack by 1 point.
Yeah.
How did you feel for him in that sense? Obviously, you're probably elated, and that's the first thing on your mind because you've won and you're a deserving champion. So well done on that again. But how would it feel to come up? Because out of like 600 and something points or whatever it is,
it's
come
crazy.
up 1 point short.
Yeah. I didn't know it was 1 point until we were backstage.
Yeah, well, you would.
And I think somebody told me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. I know we were very close. But I didn't know it was that close, especially because I ran a couple of seconds over time and everything. And then when I found out 1 second, you can't help but sympathize because it sucks.
Yeah.
And I've come second multiple times, not at Worlds,
But he's got that champion mentality, and I think he'll be back, and he'll be
be a
champion.
We had a few trips together after that. Like we were in Brazil together, we were in Japan together, and I hung out with him, and he's a really nice guy. And I told him, if you keep doing it, one day it'll be him. And it's great. He's
you both really use exceptional coffees, and I really liked how you use the wash geisha this time around. It's been a while since the wash coffees won the World Barista Champion, championship, so it was good. But we're out of time now, unfortunately. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to have you, and you agreed to it, weeks ago, which is very flattering. We have a sponsor these days called Eco Barista. So if anyone wants to get onto some products in Australia, I think they're global. So www.ecobarista.com.au, 15% off your first order. They've looked after the podcast, wonderful sponsor. So thanks again to them. Mikael, so good to have you on. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
As always, everyone, it's just coffee. Done.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you. It's very quick. I thought it was going to be like an hour or something.
Oh, we only